Hey everyone, ready to dive deep into the world of Mulan 2? Released on February 1st, 2004. This film has sparked endless discussions, and today, we're uncovering every thrilling detail. If you enjoy this deep dive, don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps us grow. And for more incredible movie explorations and hidden gems, subscribe to the channel. Now, let's unravel the magic behind this cinematic masterpiece. Mulan 2 is a 2004 American animated direct-to-video musical adventure film produced by Walt Disney Pictures and Disney Toon Studios and distributed by Buena Vista Home Entertainment. The film was directed by Darrell Rooney and Lynne Southerland in her directorial debut, and produced by Jennifer Blohm, from a screenplay written by Michael Lucker, Chris Parker, and Roger H. Schulman. It is the sequel to Walt Disney Feature Animation's 1998 animated feature film Mulan, featuring original songs that were written by composer Janine Tezery and lyricist Alexa Junga and a musical score composed and conducted by Joel McNeely. Much of the voice cast from the first film returned, excluding Eddie Murphy, Mushu, Miriam Margolyes, the matchmaker, James Hong, Chi Fu, Chris Sanders, Little Brother, and Matthew Wilder, Ling's singing voice. Murphy, Margolyes, and Sanders were replaced by Mark Mosley, April Winchell, and Frank Welker, respectively, while Gede Watanabe does his own singing for the sequel. Mulan 2 features Mulan and her new fiancé, General Li Shang, on a special mission, escorting the Emperor's 3 daughters across the country to meet their soon-to-be fiancés. Meanwhile, Mushu attempts to break up their relationship to keep his pedestal. The film deals with arranged marriages, loyalty, relationships, making choices, trust, and finding true love. Plot: 1 month after defeating the Huns, Mushu enjoys his restored status as a guardian spirit, to the dismay of the Fa family ancestors. General Shang asks Mulan for her hand in marriage, and she happily accepts. Mushu is initially thrilled about the engagement, until the ancestors inform him that if Mulan marries Shang, his family ancestors would become her guardians and Mushu will lose his job. The Emperor calls upon Mulan and Shang and informs them of the threat the Mongols pose to China. To oppose them, the Emperor intends to strengthen China by forging an alliance with the Kingdom of Kagong, arranging for his 3 daughters, Princesses Tingting, Mei, and Su, to be married to Kagong's princes, and assigns Mulan and Shang to protect them on their journey. Although uneasy at the idea of arranged marriage, Mulan agrees to the mission. Mulan and Shang, along with Yao, Ling, and Qianpe, set out with the princesses to Kagong. In order to protect his position as guardian, and believing that Mulan and Shang are incompatible due to their different behavior, Mushu tags along to sabotage their relationship, while Crik attempts to stop him. While desperately trying various ways to sabotage Mulan and Shang's relationship, Mushu accidentally destroys the princess's carriage. Now forced to travel on foot, Mulan and Shang briefly argue over what direction they should go, as well as their duties. Seeing this, Mushu manipulates Shang into believing that Mulan is fed up with him, escalating tensions between them. Meanwhile, Mei, Tingting, and Su fall in love with Yao, Ling, and Qianpe respectively, and the princesses decide to follow Mulan's advice of having a duty to their hearts. That night, Yao, Ling, and Qianpe take the princesses out to a nearby village, and they mutually declare their love. Mulan pursues them, becoming happy that the princesses have followed their hearts. Mushu wakes up Shang, who pursues the group and reprimands them for forgetting about their duties. Mulan and Shang erupt into a heated argument, and decide that they are too different for each other and break up. The group begins traveling across bandit country, and Mushu realizes that Mulan's breakup with Shang has only made her miserable. Overwhelmed with guilt, Mushu confesses to his actions, losing Mulan's trust yet motivating her to fix things with Shang. The group is attacked by bandits that attempt to kidnap the princesses. Although the princesses are saved, Mulan and Shang are left dangling on a broken bridge. Shang allows himself to fall into the ravine so that Mulan can lift herself up. Heartbroken, Mulan declares that the princesses will not be forced into a loveless marriage and continues on to Kagong alone. Mulan presents herself to Kagong's ruler, Lord Qin, and lies that the princesses have been killed, offering herself in their place. Lord Qin agrees and arranges a wedding between Mulan and his eldest son, Prince Jiki. Shang turns up alive and meets up with Yao, Ling, Qianpe and the princesses, and heads to Kagong. Shang interrupts the wedding and admits that Mulan was right about following her heart. To save Mulan and Shang from Lord Qin's forces, Mushu impersonates the Great Golden Dragon of Unity, forcing Lord Qin to ally himself with the Emperor, while allowing Mulan and Shang to marry and freeing the princesses from their vows. Sometime later, Mulan and Shang officially marry in Mulan's village, and Mushu accepts the loss of his position. However, Shang combines the family temples, enabling Mushu to continue being a guardian spirit. While celebrating, Mushu accidentally reveals himself to Shang and Mulan, but Shang is not surprised as he was already aware of Mushu's existence, as Mulan had already told Shang about him. Afterwards, Shang and Mulan embrace while the thrilled Mushu is happy to have his role back. Cast. Main article. List of Disney's Mulan characters. * Ming-Na Wen as F.A. Mulan. * Lea Salonga as F.A. Mulan, singing voice. * B.D. Wong as General Li Shang. * Lucy Liu as Princess May. * Beth Blankenship as Princess May, singing voice. * Sandra Oh as Princess Ting Ting. * Judy Kuhn as Princess Ting Ting, singing voice. * Lauren Tom as Princess Sue. * Mandy Gonzalez as Princess Sue, singing voice. * Gede Watanabe as Ling. * Harvey Fierstein as Yao. * Jerry Tonda as Qianpe. * Mark Mosley as Mushu. * Pat Morita as the Emperor of China. * George Takei as First Ancestor F.A. * June Foray as Grandmother F.A. * Frida Foshin as F.A. Lee. * Frank Welker as Crik/Little Brother. * Soon Tek-O as F.A. Zhou. * April Winchell as the Matchmaker. * Gillian Henry as Sharon. * Keone Young as Lord Qin. * Michelle Kwan as Shopkeeper. * Rob Paulson as Prince Jiki. Marketing. The trailer for the film was first released on January 27, 2004, with the 2-disc special edition release of Alice in Wonderland. The trailer was also attached to other VHS and DVDs released by Walt Disney Home Entertainment in 2004. A behind-the-scenes sneak preview was also released on October 26, 2004, with the special edition release of its predecessor. On February 1, 2004, Disney released Mulan 2, a direct-to-video sequel that would go on to captivate audiences in a way few expected. This follow-up to the 1998 animated classic Mulan brought back the beloved characters, but with a new sense of emotional depth and complexity that gave it its own unique identity. While the original film was a groundbreaking, action-packed, and heartwarming retelling of the Chinese legend, Mulan 2 took a more introspective and personal approach. It was a film that managed to build on the foundation of its predecessor while tackling new themes, challenges, and dynamics in a way that made it stand out as an engaging and heartfelt sequel. Unlike the larger-than-life theatrical releases Disney is known for, Mulan 2 was a home video release that became an unexpected treat for fans of the first film. It wasn't a movie that stormed the box office or garnered widespread critical acclaim, but it struck a chord with viewers who had grown attached to the characters, the world, and the emotional journey of Mulan. Despite being overshadowed by the larger-than-life hits of the early 2000s, Mulan 2 left an indelible mark on the hearts of those who watched it. And, in a way, this film might have been underestimated for its heartfelt storytelling, more nuanced character development, and the deeper dive it took into the personal lives of its characters. The movie picks up just after the dramatic events of the first film, with Mulan now a celebrated hero and about to marry Li Shang, the man who stood by her side through her journey. This transition into her new life is both sweet and bittersweet, as the emotional weight of duty and honor still lingers. What Mulan 2 does so well from the outset is illustrate that even in the moment of happiness, there is always something else at stake. Mulan, a woman who defied societal expectations, now finds herself on the verge of stepping into another role, one that society expects her to play as a dutiful wife. But this transition isn't as simple as just slipping into a new identity. Instead, the movie presents a nuanced exploration of what it means to balance duty with personal desires and emotional fulfillment. This delicate tension becomes the heartbeat of Mulan 2, and it's what makes it more than just a traditional animated sequel. The stakes in this movie are not as grand as saving a nation, but instead are focused on a much more personal, relatable journey. The challenge Mulan faces is one of identity, of reconciling her duty to China with her love for Shang. The entire premise of the movie centers around a mission that Mulan, Mushu, and their companions embark on, a mission to deliver a royal decree. This seemingly simple task becomes a journey of self-discovery, as it forces Mulan to confront the expectations placed on her and the love she feels for Shang. The twist in the story, when the decree holds implications that affect the possibility of their wedding, is what propels the characters into uncharted emotional territory. But it's not just about Mulan. Shang, too, undergoes a significant character arc. In the first film, we see him as a strict, disciplined soldier who ultimately learns to appreciate Mulan for who she truly is. In Mulan 2, however, Shang is now the one who is torn between duty and love. As much as he wishes to honor Mulan's wishes and support her, he is bound by his own sense of honor and responsibility. The film does a beautiful job showing the growing tension in their relationship as they navigate the complexities of both their love for each other and their individual commitments. The emotional stakes for these two characters are so much higher because the movie delves into the complexity of their emotions rather than relying on grandiose external conflicts. Another layer to the story is the presence of Mushu, the lovable, mischievous dragon who provided so much comic relief in the original film. In Mulan 2, Mushu is just as hilarious, but his antics are more than just jokes. They serve as a reflection of Mulan's internal conflict. While Mushu's attempts to undermine the seriousness of their mission and make everything about him provide much-needed humor, they also act as a subtle commentary on the pressures Mulan feels to conform to traditional expectations, with Mushu being the voice of easier paths and shortcuts. Cricket, who is still along for the ride, adds an additional layer of charm to the group dynamic, being the silent, endearing character whose quiet nature brings balance to the loud, chaotic personalities around him. The visuals in Mulan 2 retain the richness and vibrancy of the first film. Even though the movie was produced for home video, the animation style remains true to the original aesthetic, with lush landscapes, beautifully rendered characters, and the same attention to detail that Disney is known for. The settings, from the Imperial Palace to the Chinese countryside, are breathtaking in their simplicity and beauty. Even though it doesn't have the grand scale of the first movie, the environments still feel alive and immersive. The film's color palette is striking, using soft hues to reflect the emotional tone of the film, whether it's the warm colors of Mulan's growing relationship with Shang or the cooler, more somber tones that come with moments of conflict and doubt. These subtle shifts in color serve as a visual representation of the characters' evolving journeys. The music in Mulan 2 doesn't have the same iconic impact as the songs in Mulan, but it still plays a vital role in enhancing the emotional experience of the film. Songs like Other Girls and Bring Honor to Us All are lighthearted and poignant, evoking the same spirit of empowerment, self-discovery, and cultural pride that made the first movie's soundtrack so memorable. While the songs may not have achieved the same level of fame, they're still deeply tied to the themes of identity, honor, and tradition that the film explores. The music's ability to underscore the characters' emotional journeys without overshadowing them is one of the reasons Mulan 2 feels like a natural continuation of the original film. One of the more surprising elements of Mulan 2 is how it manages to subvert expectations. While many sequels fall into the trap of rehashing the original film's beats, Mulan 2 takes the time to build its own narrative. It doesn't rely on action-packed sequences or the traditional hero-villain showdown to keep audiences engaged. Instead, it leans into more intimate and relatable challenges, ones that resonate on a personal level. The conflict isn't just about defeating an external enemy. It's about figuring out how to balance personal happiness with responsibility, how to make difficult choices, and how to navigate relationships that require both sacrifice and understanding. This depth is what gives Mulan 2 its staying power, even if it's often overshadowed by its predecessor. Mulan 2 became a cultural phenomenon for many because it captured a specific moment in the lives of its audience, especially those who had grown up with the original Mulan. It was a film that explored complex themes of love, identity, and the expectations placed on women, themes that felt both timeless and timely. For young audiences, it offered an insight into what it means to be a strong, independent individual, and for older audiences, it provided a reflection of the pressures that come with adulthood and the choices we all must make. The themes of duty, honor, and self-identity echoed throughout the movie, making it feel not just like a sequel, but a deeper exploration of what it means to live a life of meaning and purpose. For viewers who have never delved deeply into the narrative of Mulan 2, this movie offers a rich tapestry of emotional depth and relational growth that deserves a second look. It may not have been the blockbuster hit that the first Mulan was, but it's a movie that offers something truly special, a heartfelt exploration of identity, love, and duty, all wrapped in the beautiful animation and compelling storytelling Disney fans have come to expect. So, if you haven't yet, take the time to dive deeper into the details of this movie. It's a hidden gem that continues to resonate with audiences, offering layers of meaning that go far beyond the surface. The opening scenes of Mulan 2 instantly draw us back into the world of Mulan, a hero who has triumphed against all odds and now finds herself in a place of peace and celebration. The sun sets over the Chinese countryside as Mulan prepares for one of the most important moments in her life, her wedding to Li Shang, the man she loves and fought alongside during the epic battle to save China. There's an air of excitement, but also a sense of tension, a feeling that something is just on the horizon, waiting to shift this idyllic moment. As we follow Mulan through the early scenes, we see her in a quiet moment of reflection. She's preparing for the wedding ceremony, but there's a palpable conflict beneath the surface. The grand, colorful celebration she imagines is contrasted by her inner turmoil. For Mulan, this moment should be joyous, but it's filled with uncertainty. She's not sure what this new chapter in her life will look like, or whether her place in this world, which she has fought so hard to carve out, will change forever. She's been through so much to get here, and now, as she faces the next stage in her journey, she wonders how love and duty can coexist. This internal conflict becomes the emotional core of the movie, one that will shape her decisions and interactions with everyone around her. Li Shang, the man of the hour, shares in this uncertainty. He is proud of what they've accomplished together, but as the film opens, we quickly realize that Shang is also feeling the weight of their future. He's been a soldier all his life, disciplined and focused on duty, but now, in the face of his love for Mulan, he finds himself at a crossroads. This isn't just a wedding. It's a pivot point in their lives, one that will test their commitment to each other and the country they both served. Shang's character, while strong and composed, is beginning to feel the strain of balancing personal desire with his military responsibilities. The tension between their personal lives and their public duties becomes clear early on, setting the stage for the emotional journey that lies ahead. And just as the story begins to settle into the idea of a peaceful wedding, the plot takes its first major turn. A new mission arrives. The emperor sends an urgent edict that needs to be delivered to a distant province. It's not the type of mission one would expect to interfere with the delicate balance of Mulan's life. But duty calls, and both Mulan and Shang are called upon to carry out this critical assignment. The mission seems simple enough, but here is where the first seeds of suspense are planted. As Mulan and Shang leave for the journey, the audience is reminded that the story will not simply focus on the romantic tale we expect. Instead, it will delve deeper into the costs of duty, the sacrifices it demands, and the friction between personal desires and obligations. Accompanying Mulan on this journey are the trusty sidekicks, Mushu, the small but mighty dragon, and Cricket, the ever-loyal but sometimes clumsy companion. Mushu, as always, brings much-needed comic relief to the mission. His insistence on making everything about himself creates a whirlwind of hilarious moments. But beneath the jokes, there is also a sense of foreshadowing. Mushu, in his own way, represents the voices of those who wish to take shortcuts, avoid the hard path, and embrace the easier, more selfish route. He's a constant presence in Mulan's life, both pushing and pulling her in different directions. His comedic antics disguise a deeper complexity. His role in her life is not just as a sidekick, but as a figure that challenges her to think about what she truly wants and who she wants to become. The mission itself turns out to be far more complicated than initially thought. Mulan and her companions are tasked with delivering the Emperor's decree, which, unbeknownst to them, is tied to a larger and more dangerous political plot. As the group travels, we see that not everyone in the Empire has Mulan's best interests at heart. The stakes of the mission become higher when Mulan learns that the Emperor's edict has the potential to disrupt not only her personal life but the very foundation of the future she envisions with Shang. The presence of an unknown antagonist, who seems to have their own motives, signals that the road ahead won't be easy. At this point, the audience is hooked. What seemed like a routine mission is now fraught with intrigue and the looming threat of personal and political stakes that could shake everything Mulan holds dear. As Mulan's internal struggle grows, the tension between her and Shang begins to surface. Their relationship, which was once built on mutual respect and understanding, is now tested by the reality of their different roles. Shang, driven by his sense of honor and duty, finds himself at odds with Mulan's growing sense of individuality and desire for a life outside the confines of military expectations. Mulan, on the other hand, begins to wonder if her identity as a warrior will always overshadow her desire to simply be with Shang. The couple's growing distance is subtle at first, but it's there, under the surface, and it adds an emotional weight to the unfolding narrative. One of the pivotal moments in the first half of the film occurs when Mulan learns that the royal edict they're delivering is tied to a decree that could potentially ruin her future with Shang. The tension between duty and love reaches a boiling point as Mulan realizes that this seemingly innocuous mission could have catastrophic consequences for the life she's always dreamed of. It's a moment of clarity for Mulan. She understands that her life will never be simple, that the world she lives in will always demand more from her. But this realization isn't an easy one to accept. It's a painful moment of growth, where Mulan must come to terms with the idea that sometimes fulfilling your duty means sacrificing your own happiness. The emotional stakes intensify when Mulan is forced to confront not only the political implications of the decree, but also the personal cost of her mission. While Mulan is caught in a web of duty and love, she also has to grapple with the expectations that her society and culture place on her. The notion of honor that shaped her journey in the first film now plays an even more significant role in the decisions she must make. It's no longer just about saving China. It's about how Mulan can save herself from a life dictated by others, a life that might not allow her the happiness she craves. As the mission unfolds and Mulan's internal struggle grows, it becomes increasingly clear that the path forward is fraught with challenges. She and Shang are no longer the same people they were when they first set out on this journey together. The tensions between them are more pronounced, and their future together is uncertain. Meanwhile, Mushu continues to push for his own selfish desires, often undermining the gravity of the situation with his attempts to take shortcuts. While his antics provide some much-needed levity, they also highlight the complexities of the choices Mulan faces. Mushu's insistence on focusing on his own goals serves as a foil to Mulan's deepening understanding of what it means to be selfless and honor one's commitments, even at great personal cost. At the midpoint of the film, the stakes have been raised. Mulan and Shang are no longer just warriors on a mission. They are individuals grappling with the deeper question of what their roles in life truly mean. With every step they take, they are pushed further into uncharted emotional territory. The political intrigue that surrounds the Emperor's decree, the looming threat of the antagonist's machinations, and the growing divide between Mulan and Shang create a sense of tension that propels the plot forward. Every decision feels weighted with consequence, and every moment is fraught with the possibility of betrayal, heartbreak, or sacrifice. The first half of Mulan 2 is a masterclass in building suspense, layering emotional complexity, and carefully weaving character development into the fabric of the story. It's a journey that keeps the audience on the edge of their seat, never quite sure what will happen next. The twists are subtle, but they're there, hiding in the shadows of Mulan's decisions, in the cracks between her relationships, and in the ever-present tension between duty and love. The stage is set for what promises to be an even more dramatic and emotionally charged second half. One that will force Mulan and Shang to make impossible choices and face the consequences of their actions. But for now, we're left with the stirring realization that the road ahead will be anything but easy. The first half of the movie has set the tone. Intimate, emotional, and full of the kind of suspense that leaves you eagerly awaiting what comes next. As we journey into the second half of Mulan 2, the stakes have escalated, and the tension between personal desires and duty intensifies, shaping every decision and action the characters make. What seemed like a simple mission at the start now feels like a deeply emotional, life-altering quest for Mulan, Shang, and their companions. The sense of uncertainty that began to creep in at the film's opening has fully bloomed into a web of conflicts, both internal and external, that will forever alter the course of their futures. This is where the true heart of the story lies. In the clash between love and responsibility, self-discovery, and the sacrifices one must make for the sake of honor. The second half picks up with Mulan and her companions facing new challenges. The mission, which initially seemed like a task of duty, has now morphed into something far more complex. The royal decree they were sent to deliver holds significant weight, and Mulan quickly realizes that it contains a devastating consequence, one that threatens her relationship with Shang and challenges everything she has worked for. The emotional depth of Mulan's character becomes even clearer here as she is forced to make difficult decisions, with the realization that fulfilling her duty may come at the cost of her personal happiness. At the heart of this struggle is Mulan's growing sense of identity. She has always been someone who defied the expectations placed on her by society, and now, faced with the potential destruction of her future with Shang, she must grapple with the truth. How much of her life is hers to control, and how much is dictated by the expectations of others? The more Mulan tries to navigate the complexities of duty, honor, and love, the more she realizes how fraught with sacrifice the path she's walking really is. This inner conflict is masterfully drawn out, and it's through Mulan's emotional journey that the film's central themes of identity and self-determination come to the forefront. As the plot unfolds, we begin to see cracks in Mulan and Shang's relationship. Up until now, they have been united in their mission, but now their differing priorities start to surface. Shang, who has always been driven by a strong sense of duty, finds himself increasingly conflicted. As the weight of the mission grows heavier and the consequences of the royal decree become clearer, Shang's belief in honor and duty starts to overshadow his emotional connection with Mulan. The love they share is no longer enough to keep them aligned. Shang, determined to do what he believes is right, is willing to put their personal lives on the back burner to ensure the mission's success. In doing so, he becomes more distant, caught between his role as a leader and his love for Mulan. The tension between duty and love becomes the emotional driving force of the second half, and it sets the stage for the climactic moments that will follow. The turning point arrives when Mulan learns the true nature of the royal decree. As it turns out, the edict not only contains a political decision that could devastate her wedding plans, but also holds the key to a larger scheme that could shake the foundations of the emperor's rule. This revelation forces Mulan to make a choice: follow the orders and complete the mission, or defy authority and risk everything to protect her own happiness and the future she wants to build with Shang. For the first time in the film, Mulan is faced with the realization that sometimes doing the right thing isn't as simple as following orders. The emotional toll this decision takes on her is immense, as it forces her to confront what it truly means to live with honor. In the meantime, Mushu, who has been a constant comedic presence throughout the film, takes on a more significant role in the unfolding events. His character, though often providing light-hearted moments, begins to reflect the larger themes of the film. Mushu's mischievous nature and penchant for taking shortcuts are in direct contrast to Mulan's more measured and thoughtful approach. However, as the plot intensifies, Mushu's actions lead to unforeseen consequences, and he too must reckon with the price of his choices. In many ways, Mushu serves as a foil to Mulan's character, and the moments of conflict between them highlight the broader struggles Mulan faces, between taking the easy way out and following the more difficult, but ultimately more rewarding path of self-discovery and sacrifice. The emotional weight of the story reaches its peak when Mulan, after much internal struggle, decides that the only way forward is to follow her heart. She confesses to Shang her fears about their future, expressing the vulnerability she's been hiding throughout the film. This moment of honesty is one of the most powerful in the movie. It's the point where Mulan fully embraces her complexity, her desire for both love and honor, her commitment to both her personal happiness and her responsibilities to her people. Shang, too, is forced to confront his own beliefs, realizing that his rigid sense of duty has kept him from truly understanding Mulan and what she needs. Their conversation is raw and emotional, as they both realize that their love is stronger than any external conflict. The journey they've been on has tested them in ways they never imagined, and in this moment of vulnerability, they find common ground. However, the road to resolution is not without its obstacles. As Mulan and Shang come to terms with their relationship, the villainous antagonist, who had been lurking in the background of the film, finally steps forward. This shadowy figure has been manipulating events from the start, hoping to use the royal decree to further their own political agenda. The antagonist's motivations are revealed to be rooted in power and control, and it's only through Mulan's quick thinking and bravery that they manage to thwart this threat. The final confrontation is a powerful one, as Mulan, once again, becomes the hero who saves the day, not through brute strength, but through her intelligence, her integrity, and her unwavering determination to do what's right. This climactic moment not only reinforces the themes of personal growth and self-discovery, but also serves as a reminder that true strength comes from within. The resolution of the film is both satisfying and emotionally resonant. With the antagonist defeated and the royal decree nullified, Mulan and Shang are free to chart their own path. The conflict that once seemed insurmountable is now resolved, and Mulan, having navigated the complexities of duty, love, and honor, is able to finally embrace her future. The film ends on a hopeful note, with Mulan and Shang standing together, having reconciled their differences and found a way to honor both their love and their duties. There is a sense of closure, but also of possibility, the realization that, although they have faced tremendous challenges, their journey is far from over. The emotional weight of the final moments is underscored by the beautiful animation and the subtle music that accompanies them. The film's final scene, a quiet yet powerful moment between Mulan and Shang, encapsulates the heart of the movie. It's a simple scene, but it speaks volumes about the growth of the characters. Both Mulan and Shang have changed over the course of the film, and their relationship has evolved from one of tension and uncertainty to one of mutual understanding and respect. The film ends with the promise of a new beginning, a future where Mulan can truly be herself, someone who can be both a warrior and a woman in love, someone who has found balance between her responsibilities and her personal desires. As Mulan 2 draws to a close, we are left with a sense of fulfillment, knowing that the characters we've grown to love have reached a point of resolution. The narrative threads, which were once tangled with conflict, have now come together in a harmonious way. Every twist, every emotional moment has led to this point, a conclusion that feels earned and satisfying. It's not a fairy tale ending, but it's one that feels real, grounded in the struggles and triumphs of the characters. In the end, Mulan 2 is a story of growth, of love, of honor, and of the courage it takes to follow one's heart, even when it means making the hardest choices. In Mulan 2, the heart of the film lies in the characters, whose individual arcs intertwine with the story's overarching themes of duty, love, and self-discovery. Each character is more than just a figure in the plot. They are reflections of the internal and external conflicts that shape the story's emotional core. Mulan, Li Shang, Mushu, and even the supporting characters like Cricket and the Emperor all play essential roles, each contributing to the rich texture of this tale. Through their motivations, transformations, and relationships, they elevate the narrative to a level of emotional depth that resonates long after the final credits roll. At the center of it all is Mulan, whose journey of self-discovery is at the heart of the story. From the very beginning, she is no longer the young girl who defied convention and joined the army to protect her father. By the time Mulan 2 begins, she has grown into a woman who has already achieved hero status. Yet, this success does not come without its own set of challenges. Mulan is now facing the realities of what it means to be in love and how that love must coexist with her unwavering sense of duty. While Mulan, 1998, was about defying expectations and proving herself, Mulan 2 is about the choices she faces in balancing her responsibilities as both a warrior and a woman. Her internal conflict becomes the driving force of the second film. At the start, Mulan is torn between two competing desires. She wants to marry Li Shang, but she also wants to honor the duty she has to her country. It is a deep and painful internal battle, one that forces her to question whether she can have both the love she craves and the place in the world that she has fought so hard for. This tension between love and duty is amplified by her relationship with Shang. Throughout the film, we see Mulan grappling with the weight of her decisions. When it becomes clear that fulfilling her duty might mean sacrificing her personal happiness, Mulan faces the ultimate test. Can she live with the consequences of choosing duty over love? Her evolution in this film, from a woman unsure of her place in the world to someone who makes bold decisions in the face of personal and political conflict, is one of the most powerful elements of the film. What makes Mulan's transformation particularly compelling is the way it mirrors the growth of the first film. In Mulan 2, she has learned from her past experiences, and this growth manifests in how she handles the challenges before her. When confronted with the difficult choice to follow the royal edict or protect her own future with Shang, Mulan does not immediately resort to the brash, impulsive behavior of her youth. Instead, she takes a more measured approach, considering not just the immediate consequences of her actions, but their long-term effects. The quiet moments of reflection in her character arc highlight the depth of her internal journey, one that resonates with viewers who can understand the complexities of balancing personal desires with responsibility. Li Shang, in many ways, acts as a mirror to Mulan's growth. His character is also a study in transformation, though his journey is more outwardly defined by the clash between his love for Mulan and his sense of duty. At the start of the film, Shang is still the disciplined, honor-bound officer we saw in Mulan. He is steadfast and unshakable in his belief that duty comes first. But as the story progresses, he is forced to reckon with the idea that love may require sacrifice and that sometimes, fulfilling one's duty means letting go of rigid expectations. Shang's arc is particularly poignant because it shows the vulnerability of a character who is often seen as strong and infallible. His struggle to balance his emotions with his responsibilities makes his character feel more human and relatable. His journey is about realizing that being a true leader isn't just about following orders. It's about understanding the people you lead and the sacrifices they make. What's most striking about Shang is his deep respect for Mulan. Although their relationship is tested throughout the film, it's clear that Shang has the utmost admiration for Mulan's strength, intelligence, and integrity. The way his character grows to appreciate these qualities in Mulan, rather than viewing her as a mere counterpart to his own masculinity, adds layers to their romantic relationship. Their emotional distance is palpable, especially when Shang seems to prioritize duty over their love. Yet, the pivotal moment when they finally share their true feelings for each other is a testament to the fact that their love is not just born from their past shared experiences, but from a deep understanding of each other's strengths and vulnerabilities. Shang's arc, like Mulan's, is a journey of personal growth. He starts out rigid in his beliefs, but by the end, he is able to evolve, showing that love and duty need not be mutually exclusive. Li Shang, in many ways, acts as a mirror to Mulan's growth. His character is also a study in transformation, though his journey is more outwardly defined by the clash between his love for Mulan and his sense of duty. At the start of the film, Shang is still the disciplined, honor-bound officer we saw in Mulan. He is steadfast and unshakable in his belief that duty comes first. But as the story progresses, he is forced to reckon with the idea that love may require sacrifice and that sometimes, fulfilling one's duty means letting go of rigid expectations. Shang's arc is particularly poignant because it shows the vulnerability of a character who is often seen as strong and infallible. His struggle to balance his emotions with his responsibilities makes his character feel more human and relatable. His journey is about realizing that being a true leader isn't just about following orders. It's about understanding the people you lead and the sacrifices they make. What's most striking about Shang is his deep respect for Mulan. Although their relationship is tested throughout the film, it's clear that Shang has the utmost admiration for Mulan's strength, intelligence, and integrity. The way his character grows to appreciate these qualities in Mulan, rather than viewing her as a mere counterpart to his own masculinity, adds layers to their romantic relationship. Their emotional distance is palpable, especially when Shang seems to prioritize duty over their love. Yet, the pivotal moment when they finally share their true feelings for each other is a testament to the fact that their love is not just born from their past shared experiences, but from a deep understanding of each other's strengths and vulnerabilities. Shang's arc, like Mulan's, is a journey of personal growth. He starts out rigid in his beliefs, but by the end, he is able to evolve, showing that love and duty need not be mutually exclusive. Supporting characters, too, are pivotal in driving the narrative forward, particularly Mushu, who provides both comic relief and emotional complexity. In the first Mulan movie, Mushu was a source of humor, often using his sharp wit and mischievous antics to get out of sticky situations. In Mulan 2, however, his role becomes more layered. While still providing moments of levity, Mushu's actions begin to reflect his internal struggles with his sense of purpose. He wants to help Mulan, but he also wants to ensure that he isn't forgotten or sidelined. Mushu's journey is one of self-awareness. His antics, like trying to cut corners or manipulate situations for his own benefit, stand in stark contrast to Mulan's more thoughtful and selfless approach. However, through his failures and the consequences of his actions, Mushu comes to understand that sometimes the right path is the more difficult one. What's especially compelling about Mushu's character is how his transformation mirrors Mulan's. Just as she must choose between her desires and her responsibilities, Mushu must come to terms with his role as Mulan's guide. His selfishness and desire for recognition ultimately lead to a deeper understanding of what it means to be selfless and to truly serve others. The emotional arc of Mushu's character, while comedic in nature, also reflects the larger theme of personal growth and the importance of community and mutual support. Mushu's eventual realization that helping Mulan means putting her needs before his own adds an emotional layer to his character, transforming him from a mere sidekick to an essential figure in Mulan's journey. Cricket, while not as prominent as the other characters, still plays a crucial role. As the lovable, somewhat clumsy companion to Mushu, Cricket is often the comic foil, but his quiet loyalty to Mulan and her cause should not be underestimated. His role in the story is subtle but significant. He is the voice of reason when emotions run high, offering a balance to the more erratic characters like Mushu. Cricket's unwavering support of Mulan, despite his own limitations, emphasizes the importance of finding strength in unity and community. His journey may be more understated, but it serves as a reminder that every character in the story has a role to play, no matter how small it may seem. The Emperor, while not a central figure, also plays a key role in Mulan's development. His actions are crucial to the political backdrop of the film, but his presence also symbolizes the authority that Mulan must navigate. When Mulan realizes the true implications of the royal decree, it's through her interactions with the Emperor that she fully understands the complexities of duty and honor. The Emperor's unwavering belief in the importance of his edicts stands in contrast to Mulan's evolving sense of self, adding another layer to the central conflict of the film. He is not an antagonist in the traditional sense, but his authority serves as a constant reminder of the sacrifices Mulan must make, forcing her to reckon with the cost of her choices. Together, all of these characters, Mulan, Shang, Mushu, Cricket, and the Emperor, form a rich tapestry of personalities and arcs, each contributing to the central theme of the film. Their personal growth, their triumphs and failures, create a deeply emotional experience that resonates with viewers on multiple levels. The performances of the voice actors are what truly bring these characters to life. Ming-Na Wen as Mulan infuses the character with a quiet strength that is both fierce and vulnerable, allowing the audience to connect with her on a personal level. Wong's portrayal of Li Shang balances authority with tenderness, making him both a strong leader and a compassionate partner. Eddie Murphy, as Mushu, delivers his lines with the perfect blend of humor and heart, making him a standout character whose arc is just as meaningful as Mulan's. And finally, the quiet support of Cricket and the commanding presence of the Emperor add depth to the film, showing that even the most seemingly minor characters have a significant impact on the overall narrative. In the end, The characters in Mulan 2 are what elevate the film from a simple adventure to an emotional journey. Their arcs are intricately woven into the fabric of the story, making each moment of growth feel earned and true to the characters themselves. Mulan's evolution from a woman torn between love and duty to someone who finds the courage to chart her own path resonates deeply, as does the transformation of Shang, Mushu, and the other supporting characters. Together, they create a world that feels rich, complex, and emotionally satisfying, making Mulan 2 a story that remains unforgettable in its exploration of identity, love, and sacrifice. When it comes to Mulan 2, there's a fascinating world of behind-the-scenes stories that make the film as captivating as the one shown on screen. From unexpected production challenges to quirky casting decisions, the making of this animated feature is filled with surprising facts and intriguing moments. The production team faced a unique set of hurdles in creating this sequel, not least of which was the task of maintaining the magic of the original Mulan while introducing new characters, settings, and dynamics. Let's dive into some of the strangest and most fascinating facts that contributed to the making of Mulan 2, offering a closer look at the journey behind the scenes of this beloved film. One of the most interesting aspects of Mulan 2 is the fact that it was created as a direct-to-video sequel, a format that Disney had embraced for some of its more niche stories in the early 2000s. While Disney's theatrical releases were getting more attention and fanfare, films like Mulan 2 were quietly being produced with a smaller budget, often with tight deadlines and fewer resources. But despite these constraints, Mulan 2 was still able to retain the lush, vibrant visuals that made the original Mulan so striking. The animation was, of course, a major component of the first movie's success, and in many ways, the team behind the sequel had to work with a lot of the same creative sensibilities, while also tackling new challenges to keep the story fresh. One of the biggest hurdles the animation team faced was the shift in technological capabilities. Mulan was released in 1998, at a time when Disney was still very much in the midst of transitioning from traditional hand-drawn animation to the more technology-driven approach seen in the 2000s. By the time Mulan 2 came around in 2004, the world of animation had evolved quite a bit. While the sequel retained much of the same hand-drawn charm as the first film, the team also had to incorporate newer techniques, such as the use of computer-generated imagery, CGI, to create some of the more dynamic scenes. However, since Mulan 2 had a much smaller budget than its predecessor, the filmmakers had to be clever in their use of CGI. Instead of going all out with advanced technology, they opted for subtler, more effective uses, such as in the visual effects for certain scenes or adding depth to the backgrounds. These nuanced uses of CGI were essential for maintaining the movie's traditional feel, while also adapting to modern animation trends. While Mulan 2 faced its fair share of technological challenges, it was also a film that was being created under a tight production timeline. With Disney's focus on theatrical releases, the direct-to-video nature of Mulan 2 meant that the team had to work quickly. This led to a unique behind-the-scenes dynamic where the animation team had to push boundaries with their creativity to ensure the film's story was both engaging and visually appealing. The characters had to be reimagined to reflect the passage of time since the original Mulan, particularly Mulan herself, who needed to appear older and more mature. To achieve this, animators had to tweak her design, giving her a more refined look while staying true to the character's iconic silhouette. This was a delicate balancing act, as they didn't want to lose the essence of the beloved character, but also had to acknowledge the growth she had undergone since the first film. Another unique challenge during the creation of Mulan 2 was the casting process. While many of the original voice actors returned to reprise their roles, the film also had to introduce new characters that would enrich the storyline. One of the most notable additions was the character of Su, Mulan's future mother-in-law. Su was voiced by the talented actress Lucy Liu, who brought a certain warmth and depth to the character that immediately made her stand out. Liu's casting was an interesting choice, considering her strong, often tough roles in films like Charlie's Angels and Kill Bill. However, Liu's performance as Su was a marked contrast to the fierce, action-driven characters she's known for, showcasing her versatility as an actress. Mulan's father, Fa Zhou, was also brought back by the original voice actor, Sun Taek-oh. However, one of the more surprising casting decisions came with the character of the Emperor. In Mulan 2, The Emperor was voiced by the legendary actor James Hong, who has had a distinguished career in both film and television. Hong's voice added a layer of gravitas to the character of the Emperor, further emphasizing the theme of duty and honor that permeates the film. It was a somewhat unexpected casting choice, but one that paid off because Hong's deep, commanding voice added weight to the Emperor's presence. Even if he was not featured prominently in the storyline, the casting decisions weren't just limited to the lead characters. The voice talent behind the supporting characters, such as Eddie Murphy's return as Mushu, were also crucial to the film's success. Murphy had previously been known for his fast-talking, wisecracking style, and he delivered the same sharp wit and humor as Mushu that fans had grown to love in the original film. But there was a deeper emotional arc for Mushu in this film, which allowed Murphy to tap into a slightly more nuanced side of the character. His comedic timing was still at the forefront, but there was an emotional undercurrent to his performance that gave his character more depth and made his eventual transformation feel earned. Beyond the casting and animation, there were a few controversial moments linked to Mulan 2 that sparked debates among audiences. For one, the film's storyline, which focuses on Mulan and Li Shang navigating their love and duty, was seen by some as a departure from the more action-oriented narrative of the first film. Some fans were disappointed that the film took a more domestic turn, focusing on Mulan's romantic relationship instead of her journey as a warrior. This shift in emphasis was considered controversial by some, as it seemed to detract from the empowering message of the original movie. However, the deeper emotional stakes of Mulan 2 offered a different type of growth for the characters, showing that even the strongest warriors have to make personal sacrifices. Another point of contention arose around the film's portrayal of the Emperor. While not a central character, the Emperor's role in Mulan 2 raised some eyebrows due to the way his decisions influenced Mulan's actions. His rigidity and unwavering stance on duty, contrasted with Mulan's more nuanced view of honor, caused some critics to question whether the film was endorsing a strict, unyielding approach to leadership. This made the Emperor seem like an unapproachable figure whose authority stood in the way of Mulan's growth, despite his well-meaning intentions. The movie's resolution ultimately suggested that balance. Finding a middle ground between duty and personal freedom is the true path to fulfillment. This subtle commentary on leadership and authority resonated with some viewers, but others felt that it missed an opportunity to present the Emperor in a more empathetic light. The music in Mulan 2 was also a point of interest. Unlike the first film, which had a powerful soundtrack with songs like Reflection and I'll Make a Man Out of You, Mulan 2 featured a different approach to its musical numbers. Many of the songs in the sequel were more subdued, focusing on the emotional beats of the characters' relationships rather than grand, sweeping anthems. While some fans appreciated this shift in tone, others felt that the music was not as memorable as the original's iconic songs. The decision to move away from the big musical numbers of the first film was seen as a deliberate creative choice, one that allowed the emotional arcs of the characters to take center stage. This decision, while bold, was not universally embraced, as many fans had hoped for a continuation of the vibrant and powerful songs that had defined the original film. Perhaps one of the most interesting pieces of trivia about Mulan 2 was the film's reception. As a direct-to-video release, Mulan 2 had to contend with a certain stigma that often accompanies such films. Direct-to-video sequels are often seen as lesser than a quick cash grab with little creative ambition. However, Mulan 2 broke that mold by delivering a thoughtful, emotionally resonant story with fully developed characters. This is a testament to the dedication of the animators. The emotional depth and thematic resonance of Mulan 2 are reflected through several key moments that remain unforgettable for audiences. As a direct-to-video sequel, the film had to contend with high expectations stemming from the first Mulan film, which was a cultural landmark. While it was met with a range of reactions, one of the most undeniable aspects of Mulan 2 is the impactful moments that not only shaped the storyline but also resonated with viewers on an emotional level. These moments are the backbone of the film, providing a sense of continuity with the original, while also offering something new in the exploration of love, duty, and sacrifice. One of the most pivotal scenes occurs at the beginning of the film, when Mulan and Shang are preparing to leave for their wedding journey. This moment serves as a subtle yet significant reflection of the thematic tension that underpins Mulan 2. the conflict between love and duty. The scene opens with a beautiful and serene atmosphere as Mulan is getting ready, showing a quieter and more intimate side of her character that contrasts with the action-packed moments from the first film. However, the moment also hints at the unease and internal conflict Mulan feels about the impending marriage. While she's excited about her future with Shang, she's still haunted by the understanding that her decision to marry will come with a sacrifice, a loss of freedom. The quiet tension of this moment sets the tone for what is to come. The scene is filled with a sense of anticipation, where the audience senses that Mulan is not entirely at peace with the life she is about to embark on. The subtle emotional complexity that this sequence reveals helps reinforce the central conflict of the film. Mulan has grown in many ways since the first movie. She has learned to value both her independence and her relationship with Shang, but she finds herself at a crossroads, unsure of how to reconcile these two powerful desires. This conflict isn't just hers. It's one that will resonate with anyone who has ever faced the tension between personal desires and external expectations. The central moment of Mulan 2 that often stands out in discussions and analyses is the dramatic turning point where Mulan must choose between helping her fellow soldiers or fulfilling her promise to her family and her fiancé. This moment occurs when Mulan, Shang, and their companions are en route to the imperial city and come across a situation where duty demands that they continue forward, while Mulan feels a pull to stay behind and protect her friends. This scene is loaded with emotional weight and thematic significance. It tests Mulan's character, forcing her to confront her own values, loyalty, honor, and love. Mulan's choice to remain loyal to her companions rather than to simply follow her predetermined path of marriage and familial expectation speaks volumes about her growth as a character. It is a direct callback to the first film, where Mulan chose to defy societal expectations in order to save her father and uphold her honor. Here, in the sequel, she's not just honoring her family. She's also learning to balance the weight of her own desires with the responsibility she feels toward others. The emotional tension of this scene hinges on the dissonance between the pressure to conform to traditional gender roles, represented by her commitment to Shang and the Emperor's decree, and the realization that true honor sometimes means making difficult personal choices. The key moment here, the decision to stay behind, is critical in showing the internal battle that Mulan faces. While there's no grand fight scene or moment of dramatic action, this quieter decision is as powerful as any. It reveals the underlying struggle at the heart of Mulan 2. How does one balance duty to others with personal desires, and how do you honor your own path while respecting the paths of those you care about? Mulan's realization that she must sometimes make choices that may not please everyone yet are true to herself elevates this moment from a simple plot point to a defining emotional beat in the film. One of the more surprising moments in Mulan 2 comes with the development of Mushu's character. In the first film, Mushu was the comedic sidekick. He was mischievous, quick-witted, and often the source of comic relief. However, in Mulan 2, his role expands to become more than just a funny companion. When he attempts to sabotage Mulan's happiness by trying to split her from Shang, the emotional stakes rise considerably. This unexpected shift in his character provides an emotional punch that serves as both a betrayal and a reminder of the complexities of love and friendship. Mushu's actions are born from his fear of being forgotten or rendered irrelevant, which makes his arc deeply relatable. His internal struggle, being torn between his selfish desires and his love for Mulan, adds an emotional layer to what could have been a simple comedic character. The scene where Mushu confesses to Mulan about his fears and his actions is a surprising yet tender moment, revealing the vulnerability beneath his funny exterior. His desire to protect Mulan, albeit in a misguided way, makes his eventual redemption even more touching. This shift from comic relief to emotional complexity is a brilliant move on the part of the filmmakers and allows the film to deepen its exploration of selflessness and personal growth. But the ultimate emotional high point of Mulan 2 comes during the final confrontation, when Mulan is forced to reconcile her past choices with her future. The sequence leading up to the final moments of the film blends the emotional and thematic threads of love, duty, and sacrifice in a way that feels both earned and powerful. Mulan's journey throughout the film has been one of balancing her duties as a warrior with her love for Shang, and the final act brings these elements into sharp focus. The film's resolution, where Mulan and Shang finally declare their love for each other, is both a culmination of their individual character arcs and a resolution to the central tension between personal desire and duty. In this climactic scene, the emotional depth of Mulan's character is most apparent. Her realization that love is not about duty alone, but about mutual respect and sacrifice, is what makes the moment so special. It's a moment where she, Shang, and even Mushu, in his own way, come to terms with what it means to truly live a life of honor. The audience, having followed Mulan's journey from the first film, feels a deep sense of satisfaction as she finally steps into a role that she has crafted for herself. A woman who has successfully navigated the expectations of both love and duty to create her own path forward. The film's emotional resonance is heightened by the way it handles its themes. The tension between love and duty, the importance of personal growth, and the complexity of relationships are explored in ways that feel relatable, even within the fantastical world of ancient China. These themes resonate with the audience, who may have also grappled with their own versions of these conflicts, whether in the form of family expectations, personal desires, or professional obligations. The emotional power of Mulan 2 is found not just in its dramatic action or sweeping visuals, but in the quieter moments of self-reflection and decision-making that speak to the core of the human experience. Audience reactions to these moments have been mixed, but the moments of emotional depth often stand out as the most memorable. While Mulan 2 didn't reach the same heights as its predecessor in terms of widespread acclaim, it remains a favorite for many who appreciate its subtler exploration of character and relationship. The film's quieter, more intimate moments often resonate with those who are looking for something more than just action or comedy. They're drawn to the complexity of Mulan's choices, the subtlety of her transformation, and the moments where the characters' relationships deepen into something more meaningful. In the grand scheme of Mulan 2, these key moments shape the overall experience by providing the emotional anchor that holds the story together. The film's thematic exploration of love and duty, along with its emotional beats, elevate it from a standard sequel to something that holds a deeper resonance. The moments where characters confront their fears, doubts, and desires allow the film to transcend its status as a direct-to-video release and become a narrative with real emotional stakes. Creating Mulan 2 was no small feat as a direct-to-video sequel. It had the task of living up to the legacy of the original Mulan film, which had captured the hearts of millions with its unique blend of humor, action, and emotional depth. The sequel, though constrained by its budget and the limitations of the medium, still managed to deliver an experience that stands out in the world of animated sequels. The film's production, though less glamorous than that of a theatrical release, was filled with creative breakthroughs and challenges that shaped it into something special. One of the most notable aspects of Mulan 2 is its visual style. While it did not have the massive budget that Disney's theatrical releases boasted, the animators worked tirelessly to maintain the high standards that had been set by the original film. Mulan 2 uses a distinctive color palette that draws on the rich history and cultural imagery of ancient China. The filmmakers used traditional 2D animation to create a lush, detailed world that reflected the film's themes of honor, duty, and personal growth. The animation captures the serene beauty of the Chinese landscape, from the tranquil waters and dense forests to the majestic palaces. The settings feel alive, offering a sense of the rich culture the characters are embedded in. However, the decision to use traditional 2D animation in a time when 3D animation was becoming the industry norm presented unique challenges. The animators had to balance creating visually stunning environments with staying within the constraints of a direct-to-video budget. One of the most significant hurdles the team faced was in maintaining the integrity of the animation style from the first film. Disney wanted to ensure that Mulan 2 maintained a visual connection to its predecessor while also feeling fresh and unique in its own right. The solution was to use traditional hand-drawn techniques with some touches of digital enhancement, blending the timeless art form of animation with the possibilities that technology provided. One of the key challenges was managing the complexity of action scenes, which are a staple of the Mulan franchise. In the original Mulan, sequences like the battle with the Huns were powered by dynamic action choreography and sweeping cinematic shots. For Mulan 2, the action was smaller in scale but still demanded careful choreography and timing. The animators needed to create visually engaging fight sequences, with the same level of attention to detail as the first movie, while still conveying the emotional stakes of the story. Each action moment had to be balanced with the film's more intimate themes of personal choice, sacrifice, and love. The filmmakers had to find ways to make the fight scenes engaging without overpowering the emotional narrative. A prime example of this careful balance is the sequence where Mulan decides to stay behind and protect her fellow soldiers, knowing that doing so could cost her the chance to marry Shang. The stakes in this moment are not just about physical confrontation, but about the emotional conflict at the heart of Mulan's journey. The animators used a combination of close-ups and wide shots to emphasize the tension between the characters. This allowed for a feeling of intimacy, even within the action, underscoring that the battle Mulan faces is one within her heart and mind as much as it is on the battlefield. The film also made use of its musical numbers to further the emotional depth of the characters and the narrative. One of the standout features of Mulan 2 is the musical score, which was composed by Joel McNeely, who also worked on the music for the first Mulan movie. The score is rich in orchestration, utilizing traditional Chinese instruments like the guzheng, pipa, and erhu to create a soundscape that is both familiar and new. The music not only sets the tone for the action but also elevates the emotional stakes. The incorporation of these instruments into the score was an intentional effort to bring a sense of authenticity to the film's setting, while also resonating with the emotions of the characters. Each musical moment in the film is carefully crafted to reflect the internal struggles and desires of the characters. Whether it's Mulan's reflection on her journey or Mushu's comedic attempts to manipulate situations, the technical innovations don't end with the animation or the music. The vocal performances in Mulan 2 are another critical aspect of the film's success. Ming-Na Wen returns as Mulan, delivering a nuanced and emotional performance that captures the complexity of her character's journey. Her voice work was instrumental in conveying the emotional depth of Mulan's internal conflict between her love for Shang and her desire to honor her family's expectations. Wen's portrayal brings the character's vulnerability and strength to life, making Mulan relatable to anyone who has ever struggled with balancing personal desires and societal expectations. Wong, reprising his role as Li Shang, adds another layer of complexity to the film. As with the first Mulan, Shang is portrayed as a character who values duty above all else. However, Mulan 2 gives Wong the opportunity to explore Shang's internal conflict in a deeper way. His vocal performance was vital in capturing the tension between his love for Mulan and his devotion to his role as a soldier. Shang's vulnerability is revealed through Wong's subtle voice work, allowing the character to evolve from a steadfast leader to someone who recognizes that love, like duty, requires sacrifice and understanding. One of the more unexpected aspects of Mulan 2's production was the return of Eddie Murphy as Mushu. While the character was a beloved part of the first film, Mulan 2 provided a unique challenge in finding a balance between the comedic antics of Mushu and the emotional weight of his arc. Eddie Murphy's ability to inject humor, while also conveying Mushu's internal growth, allowed the character to evolve in a way that was both surprising and satisfying. It's a testament to Murphy's performance that Mushu's comedic timing never overshadowed the more serious moments of the film, and instead, his character became an essential part of the emotional journey. Another interesting production insight is the film's approach to its pacing. Unlike the first film, which was filled with large-scale battle scenes and sweeping drama, Mulan 2 focuses more on the quiet, intimate moments between the characters. The decision to slow down the pace and focus more on the character relationships gave the film a different, more reflective tone. This slower pace allowed the filmmakers to dive deeper into the emotional aspects of Mulan's journey, particularly her struggle to balance the life she wants with the life she feels obligated to lead. While the stakes may not have been as high in terms of grand battle scenes, the emotional stakes were certainly elevated, and that shift in focus was a creative choice that shaped the film's identity. Behind the scenes, the production team had to manage the unique pressures of making a direct-to-video sequel, while also maintaining the artistic integrity of the original. The team was aware of the expectations that came with Mulan 2's release, and there was a conscious effort to strike a balance between staying true to the original film and delivering something new. This delicate balancing act involved creating a story that could resonate with fans of the first film, while also standing on its own as a self-contained narrative. The production team worked tirelessly to ensure that Mulan 2 felt connected to the world of the original Mulan, but also had its own distinct voice. In terms of animation techniques, Mulan 2 made significant strides with its use of digital tools to enhance the traditional hand-drawn animation process. Although the film stayed true to 2D animation, digital technology allowed for more detailed textures, more fluid movement, and the ability to create more complex lighting effects. This technology played a crucial role in giving the film a polished, cinematic feel, even without the budget of a theatrical release. The filmmakers were able to push the boundaries of 2D animation, creating a visually rich experience that still held onto the charm and warmth of traditional techniques. One of the final creative decisions worth noting was the use of humor throughout the film. While Mulan 2 is emotionally charged, the film also manages to stay lighthearted, thanks in large part to the efforts of the voice cast and the filmmakers' ability to maintain the spirit of the original. The film doesn't shy away from humor, using Mushu's antics and the banter between the characters to provide levity when needed. This balance between humor and emotional weight is one of the film's most impressive feats. It keeps the narrative from becoming overly heavy while still ensuring that the emotional beats hit with the necessary impact. All these creative decisions, from the use of traditional animation to the careful pacing, technical innovations, and the performances of the voice cast, helped to make Mulan 2 an unexpected success. It managed to navigate the challenges of being a direct-to-video sequel and deliver a visually appealing and emotionally engaging story that fans of the original Mulan could appreciate. The film may not have had the same high-profile release as its predecessor, but it's clear that the production team poured immense care into every detail, making it a standout example of what a sequel can achieve when creativity and passion are at the forefront. At its heart, Mulan 2 is not just a continuation of a beloved animated adventure. It is a profound exploration of identity, duty, love, and sacrifice, woven together with a tapestry of cultural and social commentary. The film invites audiences to reflect on the personal and societal forces that shape who we are, while also challenging the expectations placed upon individuals by the world around them. By delving into these deeper layers of the narrative, Mulan 2 transcends its surface-level plot, revealing a sophisticated reflection on the complexities of life, personal growth, and the struggle to balance individual desires with collective responsibilities. At the core of the film lies the theme of duty versus personal desire, a central conflict that runs through Mulan's journey from the very beginning of the story. Throughout the film, Mulan is caught between her duty to her family and her love for Shang. This struggle is not merely a superficial choice between two paths but a deep emotional and cultural dilemma. In traditional Chinese culture, duty to one's family and community is considered paramount, and this is particularly true for Mulan, who feels the weight of familial expectations. Her family's honor is intrinsically tied to her actions, and her decision to go against these expectations, to fight in the war and later, to choose her own path, becomes an act of defiance against centuries of tradition. The tension between Mulan's inner desires and her familial obligations is palpable throughout the film. When Mulan chooses to stay behind and protect the soldiers, she is making a conscious decision to prioritize the well-being of others over her own personal happiness. This moment is a defining one for her character, marking the culmination of her journey toward understanding what it means to be truly selfless. It is not just about romantic love or personal freedom. It is about the sacrifice required to protect and nurture those around her. Her decision shows that while personal desire is important, there are moments when duty must come first, a realization that leads Mulan to an even deeper understanding of her role in both her family and the broader world. Mulan's arc is intertwined with the theme of honor, another central concept in the film. Honor is a motif that runs throughout the story, shaping both individual and collective actions. From the very beginning, Mulan is thrust into a world where honor is not just a matter of reputation but a measure of one's worth. In this context, honor is often associated with strength, duty, and selflessness, but the film reveals that true honor is not merely about adhering to societal expectations. Rather, it is about understanding oneself and making choices that reflect personal integrity. Mulan, throughout her journey, learns that honor is not about conforming to external expectations, but about living authentically and making decisions that are aligned with one's own values. One of the key moments that speaks to this evolving understanding of honor is when Mulan realizes that the royal decree does not define her worth or the worth of her actions. It is her courage, her commitment to doing what is right, that truly defines her. This marks a significant shift in her character development. The idea of honor as external validation is replaced with an understanding of honor as an internal compass, guiding one's decisions, regardless of societal norms. However, the theme of honor is not confined to Mulan alone. Li Shang's journey mirrors Mulan's in many ways, though his battle is more outwardly defined by the clash between his professional responsibilities and his emotional attachment to Mulan. At the beginning of the film, Shang is a man defined by his rigid adherence to duty, and he is unwilling to let his personal feelings interfere with his role as a military officer. However, as the story progresses, Shang begins to realize that love and duty need not be mutually exclusive. His struggle to balance these two forces reflects a more universal human experience, the need to reconcile personal desires with professional or familial obligations. In his emotional growth, we see that honor can be found in flexibility and understanding, in the willingness to make sacrifices for those we care about. In addition to the overarching themes of duty, honor, and selflessness, Mulan 2 also uses symbolism to deepen its exploration of these ideas. One of the most striking symbols in the film is the imagery of the dragon, especially in relation to Mushu. In the first film, Mushu is introduced as an unlikely hero, a small and seemingly insignificant dragon who, despite his size, holds great power and wisdom. In Mulan 2, Mushu's role becomes even more layered as he grapples with his desire for recognition and his duty to help Mulan. The dragon represents not just physical strength but also wisdom, guidance, and the tension between personal ambition and selflessness. Mushu's internal struggle, between his need for validation and his responsibility to Mulan, mirrors Mulan's own journey. Ultimately, Mushu's transformation from self-centered trickster to selfless helper reflects the larger theme of personal growth, as both he and Mulan learn to put others first. The visual representation of the dragon throughout the film serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of balance between personal desires and the greater good, between strength and vulnerability, and between tradition and personal growth. The dragon is a symbol of wisdom and transformation, and it reinforces the idea that true strength comes from understanding and accepting one's place in the world, rather than blindly following tradition or rigid expectations. Another symbolic element that carries significant weight in Mulan 2 is the presence of the emperor and his royal decree. The emperor's role in the story is not just one of political authority but also of symbolic power, representing the cultural and social structures that shape the lives of the characters. The emperor is a figure who embodies the weight of tradition, of the honor-bound world in which Mulan operates. His decree, which sets in motion much of the film's conflict, is a symbol of the external forces that impose their will upon the characters. However, as Mulan navigates this decree and comes to understand its true meaning, she realizes that her path to honor does not lie in rigid obedience to authority, but in the courage to act according to her own beliefs. This shift is not just personal but also reflects a broader societal commentary on the evolving nature of tradition and the role of the individual within it. The concept of family is also a crucial element of Mulan 2, and it operates both as a source of strength and a source of conflict. Throughout the film, Mulan's family represents the traditional values of honor, duty, and sacrifice. Mulan's relationship with her father is particularly important, as it highlights the cultural expectation that children will honor their parents by fulfilling their wishes. However, as the film progresses, Mulan's growing sense of self challenges this idea. Her decision to follow her heart, to choose love over obligation, forces her to confront the tensions between familial duty and personal freedom. This tension is compounded by the fact that Mulan's father, while loving, has his own expectations for his daughter's future. He wants what is best for her, but in doing so, he inadvertently places limitations on her choices. Through her journey, Mulan learns that honoring her family does not mean sacrificing her individuality, and that it is possible to fulfill one's duties to family while also embracing personal growth and independence. On a larger scale, Mulan 2 reflects real-world societal and cultural topics, particularly the roles and expectations placed on individuals by their families, communities, and broader society. The film speaks to the universal struggle of navigating one's personal desires while respecting the traditions and expectations of others. In many cultures, especially those with strong familial and societal structures, individuals often feel torn between their own aspirations and the weight of tradition. Mulan's journey, in this sense, becomes a reflection of a larger cultural dialogue about the tension between individuality and conformity, between modernity and tradition. The movie also comments on the idea of gender roles and the evolving understanding of women's roles in society. While Mulan 2 is a sequel to a story that broke ground by presenting a female hero in a traditionally masculine role, it continues to challenge and subvert the traditional gender expectations. Mulan's strength is not portrayed as masculine, but rather as a unique blend of resilience, intelligence, and compassion that transcends gender. By allowing Mulan to embody both traditionally feminine and masculine traits, the film subverts the notion that women must conform to societal norms in order to be successful or worthy. This theme is reinforced through Mulan's relationship with Shang, who, over the course of the film, comes to appreciate Mulan not as a counterpart to his masculinity, but as a fully realized individual in her own right. In conclusion, Mulan 2 is not just an animated adventure. It is a film that challenges its audience to think deeply about the choices we make in life. Through its exploration of duty, honor, sacrifice, and personal growth, the film speaks to universal themes of identity and the human experience. By utilizing symbolism, emotional depth, and cultural commentary, Mulan 2 invites viewers to reflect on the complexities of tradition, family, and personal freedom. It reminds us that true strength comes not from following rigid expectations, but from the courage to navigate our own paths, even when it means making difficult choices. Mulan 2 presents a rich visual and auditory experience that not only complements its story but amplifies its emotional resonance, making it a standout in the landscape of animated films. From the very first scene, the visual style of the film captures attention with its vibrant color palette, intricate character designs, and beautiful backgrounds that transport the audience into the world of ancient China. The cinematography, though crafted with animation rather than live-action techniques, still carries a distinct visual flair that enhances the narrative's emotional depth and thematic complexity. The film is notable for how it uses visual storytelling to deepen the audience's understanding of its characters and themes. For instance, the use of traditional Chinese elements in the design of the backgrounds is both aesthetically stunning and culturally significant. The architectural designs reflect the cultural heritage of ancient China, with pagodas, vast palace courtyards, and sprawling landscapes providing a sense of the scale and importance of the emperor's empire. These environments are not mere backdrops. They symbolize the themes of duty, honor, and tradition that dominate the film. The grand architecture of the emperor's palace juxtaposes the more humble settings of Mulan's home, highlighting the divide between personal desires and the expectations of the larger society. The animation style in Mulan 2 is smooth and fluid, with characters moving through their environments in a way that feels both realistic and graceful. The animation team uses sweeping wide shots and close-ups to visually communicate the emotional stakes of a scene. One of the most striking features of the film is the careful attention to detail in character expressions. Every glance, every subtle change in posture speaks volumes about the internal struggles of the characters. For instance, when Mulan faces the conflict between duty and personal love, the film uses small, intimate moments, like the way she looks down, her hands clenched in frustration or her slight smile at a shared look with Li Shang, to communicate her inner turmoil without needing to rely on extensive dialogue. Equally important is the use of color throughout the film, which plays a crucial role in visual storytelling. The vibrant hues that define the exterior shots, such as the sun-dappled fields and the striking hues of the mountains and the sky, reflect the strength and beauty of nature, reinforcing Mulan's personal journey towards self-discovery and freedom. However, when the film delves into moments of conflict, the colors become muted, leaning into darker, more somber shades. This shift signals a change in the emotional tone of the narrative. It's particularly noticeable when Mulan is forced to make difficult decisions that put her personal desires in conflict with her sense of duty. These color choices subtly hint at the weight of her decisions before they are fully revealed in the plot, creating a visual foreshadowing that ties perfectly with the narrative's trajectory. The cinematography also capitalizes on the film's action sequences. The pivotal battle scenes, particularly those involving the soldiers and Mulan's personal confrontations, use dynamic camera angles to heighten tension and excitement. Wide shots of the soldiers in formation give the impression of organized strength, while tighter, more frantic shots during the chaos of battle underscore the urgency and chaos of these moments. The choreography of these action sequences is both fluid and deliberate, adding to the sense that each battle is not just a physical fight but a clash of ideologies and personal growth. Through the careful use of animated action and pacing, the directors managed to turn the violence into something meaningful, reinforcing the themes of sacrifice and the importance of personal decisions in shaping larger destinies. Equally important is the way that sound design and music play an essential role in the storytelling. The score in Mulan 2 is evocative and emotionally charged, heightening key moments throughout the film. The soundtrack incorporates traditional Chinese instruments, such as the erhu and guzheng, which ground the film in its cultural context while simultaneously providing an emotional depth that resonates across cultures. These instruments, combined with sweeping orchestral arrangements, create an auditory tapestry that mirrors the complexity of Mulan's emotional journey. The film's sound design brings each moment to life in a way that complements the visual aspects. During action scenes, the sounds of clashing swords and the hurried steps of soldiers on the march are amplified, creating a sense of intensity and immediacy. In quieter moments, the ambient sounds of nature, chirping birds, the rustling of leaves in the wind, serve as a gentle reminder of the beauty and stillness of the world outside the turmoil. One of the most subtle but powerful moments in the film comes when the sound design is used to enhance a character's inner turmoil. For example, when Mulan makes a difficult choice, the absence of sound or the use of a soft, minimalist score accentuates the weight of her decision. The juxtaposition between the noise of the world around her and the quiet of her inner reflection visually and orally communicates her emotional state. The integration of music into the film is especially notable for its thematic consistency. The themes of honor, sacrifice, and love are conveyed not just through dialogue but also through the score itself. One of the most impactful uses of music is the repetition of certain melodies at key moments in the story. These recurring motifs, whether they appear in orchestral scores or subtly integrated into a song, become symbols of Mulan's inner conflict. The music allows the audience to connect with the character on a deeper level, understanding her emotions without the need for words. For instance, the piece of music that plays during Mulan's pivotal moments with Li Shang, as the two characters finally confront their feelings for each other, is a perfect fusion of emotional weight and musical grace. The swelling score mirrors the complexity of their relationship, emphasizing both the tension and the ultimate release that comes with their mutual understanding. Beyond these technical aspects, Mulan 2 stands out in its approach to visual storytelling through stylistic choices that define the director's vision. The film takes a slightly more intimate approach compared to its predecessor. While the first Mulan movie relied on sweeping wide shots and large-scale battle sequences to create grandeur, Mulan 2 often opts for smaller, more focused moments of emotional significance. This shift in focus speaks to the film's central themes of internal struggle and personal sacrifice. By pulling back from large-scale external conflicts and zooming in on character-driven moments, the director highlights the emotional depth of Mulan's journey. For example, the quiet moments between Mulan and her father, when the two share unspoken understanding through a simple gesture or glance, reveal more about their relationship than any epic battle ever could. One of the most unique stylistic choices in Mulan 2 is its blending of traditional animation with elements of Eastern art. The directors deliberately infused the film with Chinese artistic influences that are not just seen in the setting and costumes, but also in the manner in which scenes are framed and presented. The use of brushstroke-like textures, particularly in the backgrounds, evokes traditional Chinese painting, creating a visual richness that feels both timeless and rooted in the culture it represents. This blending of animation with elements of Chinese art is an innovative technique that elevates the film from simply being a cartoon to a piece of visual art that reflects the cultural heritage it seeks to honor. The visual style also incorporates a more dynamic use of light and shadow. In moments of emotional intensity, the use of shadows serves to emphasize the character's inner struggles. For example, when Mulan is caught between her love for Shang and her duty to her family, the film uses light and shadow to physically separate the characters, almost as if the darkness between them mirrors the emotional distance they feel. This visual choice is not just a stylistic flourish. It is a deliberate tool used to communicate the emotional stakes of the narrative. Editing plays a crucial role in maintaining the film's pacing and emotional flow. The editors employ quick cuts during moments of high tension, such as during battle scenes or when characters face tough decisions. These rapid transitions create a sense of urgency, pulling the audience into the action and the emotional weight of the scene. In quieter, more reflective moments, however, the editing slows down, allowing the audience to sit with the characters and their feelings. This contrast in pacing mirrors the central conflict of the film, the balance between external obligations and internal desires. In conclusion, the cinematic techniques in Mulan 2 work in perfect harmony to serve the film's narrative and emotional goals. The visual style, blending traditional Chinese art with modern animation techniques, creates a stunning world that immerses the audience in Mulan's journey. The careful use of color, light, and composition enhances the emotional depth of the film, while the sound design and music elevate the stakes of the story. Together, these technical achievements provide a powerful storytelling tool that helps bring the film's themes of duty, sacrifice, and personal growth to life in a way that resonates with audiences long after the credits roll. The success of Mulan 2 is, in no small part, due to the incredible chemistry between the cast, both in terms of voice performances and the behind-the-scenes dynamics that shaped their portrayals. While much of the magic of animated films comes from the skilled work of animators and directors, the voices behind the characters bring the heart and soul to the screen, transforming drawings into fully realized personalities. In Mulan 2, the bond between the voice cast members created a seamless, emotionally engaging experience that was felt by audiences worldwide. Ming-Na Wen, who voiced Mulan, returned to her iconic role with a level of confidence and depth that enriched the character. As a voice actress, Ming-Na brought a unique blend of strength and vulnerability to Mulan that resonated with fans of all ages. Her vocal performance allowed Mulan's internal struggles and her determination to shine through, making the character feel deeply authentic. While the character of Mulan was already beloved for her courage and loyalty, Ming-Na's nuanced approach brought an added layer of emotional complexity, showing the audience not just Mulan's outward actions but the deep emotional core behind them. In particular, Ming-Na's interactions with Wong, who voiced Li Shang, highlighted the dynamic between the characters and enhanced their romantic relationship in ways that felt genuine and believable. Wong's portrayal of Li Shang balanced his military discipline with a palpable tenderness toward Mulan. Their performances together made their love story feel more like a partnership of equals rather than the traditional hero and heroine dynamic. This chemistry was critical to the film's emotional resonance, particularly in the quieter, more intimate moments where the two characters confronted their feelings for each other. The chemistry between these two lead characters was also influenced by the strong bond between Ming-Na Wen and Wong in real life. The two voice actors had worked together before and shared a mutual respect for each other's work. This rapport helped them bring a certain warmth and comfort to their scenes together, which translated into an authentic portrayal of the evolving relationship between Mulan and Li Shang. Their dynamic felt incredibly organic, as if the characters were truly discovering their love for one another, not just performing in a traditional romantic subplot. However, Mulan 2's strength as an ensemble piece also relied heavily on the interaction between the supporting characters and their respective voice actors. Eddie Murphy's return as the feisty and comedic Mushu was a major highlight of the film. Mushu, with his sharp wit and playful antics, had already won the hearts of audiences in the first film. In Mulan 2, Eddie Murphy continued to bring the character to life with his signature humor, delivering one-liners that added levity to the film's more serious moments. Yet, beneath all the jokes, Eddie Murphy imbued Mushu with a deep sense of loyalty to Mulan that was never fully revealed until later in the film. This balance between humor and heart was a testament to Eddie Murphy's skill as a voice actor, making Mushu a compelling and multidimensional character. Supporting voices, like that of Cricket, voiced by Chris Sanders, also contributed to the overall chemistry of the film. Cricket's role was crucial not only in providing comic relief but also in showcasing the importance of friendship and support in Mulan's journey. While his character was more understated compared to the others, his subtle loyalty and dedication to Mulan brought a grounding sense of stability to the more chaotic interactions around him. His chemistry with Mushu, often playing the straight man to the latter's antics, created a delightful contrast and further enhanced the film's emotional range. Behind the scenes, the cast dynamics were equally influential in shaping the final product. The voice recording process for animated films often requires actors to work individually, with little to no interaction with their fellow cast members. However, Mulan 2 took a slightly different approach by encouraging cast members to engage with each other and explore the emotional dynamics of their characters through discussions and rehearsals. This collaborative atmosphere allowed for deeper connections between the actors and ultimately strengthened their performances. Director Darrell Rooney and producer Pam Coates fostered an environment that encouraged the cast to understand their characters on a deeper level. They spent time discussing the personal stakes and emotional journeys of Mulan, Li Shang, and the supporting cast members, which led to a more dynamic and authentic portrayal of each character's story. The cast was able to bring their own interpretations of the characters to the table, enriching the overall narrative by allowing each voice actor to bring their personal touch to the role. This collaborative approach contributed to the natural chemistry that audiences would later connect with. In the case of Mulan 2, the voice directors worked hard to ensure that the actors' performances didn't just follow the traditional animated film approach of simply delivering lines. Instead, they were encouraged to explore the motivations and emotional undercurrents of each character. This gave the cast the space to develop unique emotional arcs, adding depth to the story. As a result, the performances felt incredibly cohesive, blending perfectly into the overall tapestry of the film. When Mulan 2 was released, it sparked both enthusiasm and some reservations from audiences. For many fans of the original Mulan, this sequel was long awaited, and there was an inherent excitement surrounding the continuation of the beloved story. However, the film also faced some criticism for its more straightforward narrative, with many viewers questioning whether the sequel lived up to the emotional depth and stakes of the original. It was clear that while Mulan 2 was not as groundbreaking as the first film, it still offered something unique for fans who wanted more of Mulan's journey. The audience reactions were mixed. On the one hand, fans who had connected with Mulan's character in the original movie were happy to see her character grow in new ways. The chemistry between Mulan and Li Shang was praised for its realism and maturity, making their love story feel grounded in mutual respect and shared experiences. Many also appreciated the return of Mushu, whose antics provided the much-needed levity throughout the film. The supporting characters, including Cricket, offered a sense of camaraderie and teamwork, reinforcing the film's central theme of unity and support. On the other hand, some viewers felt that the story of Mulan 2 didn't carry the same weight as the original film. The stakes seemed lower, and the plot's focus on the relationship between Mulan and Li Shang, while touching, felt less urgent compared to the world-saving mission of the first film. While the animation was still visually beautiful, the film's more intimate scope didn't match the grandeur of the original Mulan, which was a global success. However, for fans of the first film who wanted to see the continuation of their favorite characters' stories, Mulan 2 provided a rewarding and emotionally satisfying experience. Critics were similarly divided. Some appreciated the film's emphasis on character development and the growth of Mulan's internal struggle between love and duty. Others felt that the sequel didn't expand upon the groundbreaking themes of the original and instead opted for a more conventional story. However, the performances of the voice cast, particularly the chemistry between Ming-Na Wen and BD Wong, were widely praised. The emotional depth of their portrayal of Mulan and Li Shang, as well as Eddie Murphy's humorous yet heartfelt Mushu, helped elevate the film beyond its more predictable narrative. In the long run, Mulan 2 carved out a place in the hearts of many fans who appreciated its more personal and character-driven story. The film continued to be discussed and enjoyed by audiences, with some viewing it as a worthy follow-up to Mulan. Over time, it became a cult classic for fans of the franchise, who found themselves coming back to the film for its themes of love, sacrifice, and personal growth. In the years since its release, Mulan 2 has found its place as an integral part of the Mulan saga. Fans who initially viewed the film skeptically have since come to appreciate its exploration of the quieter, more emotional aspects of Mulan's journey. This long-term fan engagement speaks to the enduring power of the characters and themes established in both films. Through its heartfelt performances, strong character arcs, and emotional storytelling, Mulan 2 continues to hold a special place in the hearts of audiences worldwide, ensuring that its legacy will live on for years to come. Mulan 2 may not have carried the same massive global weight as its predecessor, Mulan, but its impact, especially in the years that followed, has proven to be quietly profound, shaping the way we view animated sequels, character-driven storytelling, and the ongoing evolution of Disney's animated legacy. The film didn't just carry the torch of the original. It helped illuminate a new path, one where the boundaries between genres, cultures, and even storytelling conventions could be explored and redefined. When Mulan 2 was first released, many critics and audiences treated it as a more subdued follow-up to the sweeping emotional drama of the original. At first glance, it may have seemed like a typical direct-to-video sequel, relegated to the annals of lesser-known Disney films. Yet, as the years passed, its legacy and cultural impact began to take shape in ways that were both subtle and profound. It was the kind of sequel that didn't seek to outshine its predecessor but instead stood as a unique, quieter continuation of a larger, more complex story. One that wasn't afraid to delve into the more intimate aspects of love, sacrifice, and personal growth. In many ways, Mulan 2 can be seen as a pioneer in how animated sequels could explore themes of growth and responsibility while staying true to the characters and emotional core of their original films. It showed that sequels, especially in terms of pop culture, Mulan 2 gradually gained a cult following. For fans of the original film, it was a way to continue the journey with characters they had grown to love, but it was also an opportunity for newer generations to experience a deeper understanding of Mulan's struggles. This connection, born out of a shared appreciation for character-driven storytelling, helped Mulan 2 maintain relevance even as time passed. Through DVD sales, TV reruns, and eventually streaming platforms, Mulan 2 found a new life among a younger audience who were discovering the characters for the first time. This led to a resurgence of interest, particularly as the original Mulan movie gained renewed attention through the release of the live-action adaptation in 2020. While Mulan 2 didn't receive the kind of critical acclaim or recognition that the first film did, its place in the Mulan legacy has been firmly cemented over time. The film's nuanced approach to love, duty, and personal sacrifice has led to an increasing appreciation for its subtler, quieter contributions to the Disney canon. It stands out as a film that was unafraid to take risks in telling a deeply personal story about its characters, one that mirrored the complexity of real-life relationships and the balancing act between personal desires and responsibilities. Over the years, Mulan 2 has become a key piece in understanding the evolution of the Mulan franchise and its impact on popular culture. While the first Mulan film became a landmark in animated cinema, celebrated for its rich themes of empowerment, identity, and honor, the sequel expanded upon those themes in unexpected ways. By focusing on more personal, intimate stakes, Mulan 2 showcased the quieter side of heroism, the internal battle that often accompanies decisions of the heart. This focus on emotional depth made the film stand apart from many other sequels that leaned on bombastic plots or large-scale conflicts. The film also subtly embraced the evolving discourse surrounding gender and representation. Mulan's struggle to balance her duties to her family and her love life with her emerging sense of independence continued to resonate as a reflection of women's ongoing battle for autonomy in a world that often demands them to choose between personal fulfillment and traditional responsibilities. The subtle feminist undertones of Mulan 2, the challenge of carving out space for oneself while honoring cultural expectations, kept the film relevant long after its release. In terms of awards and recognition, while Mulan 2 didn't rack up the same number of accolades as its predecessor, it was still celebrated in niche circles. The voice performances, in particular, continued to receive praise. Eddie Murphy, Ming-Na Wen, and B.D. Wong's portrayals of their respective characters were lauded for their emotional authenticity and comedic timing, and the animation, though more constrained than the original, remained visually appealing, even if it was a departure from the grandeur of the first Mulan film. As for Mulan 2's lasting significance, it's clear that the film carved out its place within the broader cultural landscape by tackling themes of love, duty, and self-discovery with a sensitivity that was rare in animated sequels of its time. In many ways, the film was ahead of its time, anticipating the modern trend of more emotionally complex sequels that focus on character-driven narratives. It's not just a continuation of the story of Mulan. It's a story about growing up, making hard choices, and finding balance in a world that expects you to sacrifice. These are lessons that continue to resonate with audiences, regardless of age, and it's why Mulan 2 endures as an essential part of the Mulan legacy. In the years to come, it's likely that Mulan 2 will continue to be appreciated for the subtle emotional depth it brought to the screen, particularly as a counterpoint to the flashier, more commercially driven sequels that came before it. Whether it's remembered for its quieter moments of introspection, its exploration of love and sacrifice, or its ability to continue the journey of beloved characters in ways that felt earned, Mulan 2 will always hold a unique place in the hearts of fans who understand that not all stories of heroism are loud and sweeping. Sometimes, they are quiet, personal, and transformative. As we reach the end of this deep dive into Mulan 2, it's clear that the film is far more than just a sequel. It's a work that, despite flying under the radar for many years, has quietly carved its own path within the Disney canon and the broader world of animated films. In many ways, it holds its own alongside its predecessor, not by trying to outdo it, but by telling a different, more intimate story about love, duty, and personal growth. It's a film that dares to show the quieter, more complex side of heroism, the emotional and moral dilemmas that accompany every significant choice in life. The animation, though more reserved than the sweeping spectacle of Mulan, still holds a charm that draws viewers in, and the voices behind the characters breathe new life into the familiar world of Mulan and her companions. Ming-Na Wen's Mulan continues to be a symbol of quiet strength, while B.D. Wong's Li Shang represents the delicate balance between duty and desire, between love and honor. Eddie Murphy's Mushu, who started as comic relief, now reveals deeper emotional layers, giving the film both humor and heart. Each of these performances plays a pivotal role in building the film's emotional resonance, which, though subtle, is undeniably powerful. The themes explored in Mulan 2 are as relevant today as they were when the film was first released. The ongoing struggle to balance personal desires with external expectations, the weight of familial responsibility, and the courage required to choose one's own path are all universal themes that resonate with audiences, especially in a time when the pursuit of personal identity is more important than ever. The film may be a quieter narrative, but it speaks volumes in its exploration of these topics, and it does so with depth and sensitivity. The way the movie handles love, how it's not just a simple fairy tale, but a real challenge that requires sacrifice and understanding, gives Mulan 2 an emotional depth that sets it apart from other animated sequels. Love is presented not as something easily won, but something that must be nurtured and often requires difficult decisions. It's a lesson that's vital for viewers of all ages. And the complexity of duty versus love, and personal freedom versus tradition, makes the film a rich narrative experience that leaves you thinking long after the credits roll. Beyond the themes and emotional depth, the visual and technical aspects of the film are also worth noting. The film's visual style may be simpler than its predecessor, but it never sacrifices beauty or clarity. The animation team carefully crafted scenes that evoke a sense of space and atmosphere, allowing the characters to breathe within their world. Even the supporting characters, like Mushu and Cricket, are thoughtfully rendered, their physical movements and facial expressions giving them personality beyond just their dialogue. Every frame contributes to the larger emotional journey that Mulan 2 represents. The Mulan saga is more than just the story of one woman. It's a broader exploration of identity, family, and the sacrifices we make in order to grow. By focusing on Mulan's emotional journey in this film, rather than large-scale action or a more traditional plot-driven narrative, Mulan 2 is a beautiful continuation of the original's message. It continues to honor the complexity of Mulan's character, her bravery, her intelligence, and her vulnerability, showing that growth is not always about fighting battles or overcoming external villains, but about understanding oneself, one's relationships, and the difficult decisions we face in life. So what makes Mulan 2 stand out? It's not the sweeping landscapes or the grand battles. It's the emotional depth and the focus on character. It's a story of internal conflict, personal sacrifice, and the courage to make hard choices. It's a love story not just about romance, but about the sacrifice that love often requires. And most importantly, it's a sequel that builds upon the foundations of its predecessor in a way that feels natural and earned. It doesn't overshadow the original Mulan. Instead, it complements it, adding complexity to the characters we've come to know and love. What Mulan 2 teaches us, at its core, is that sometimes the hardest battles are fought within. The fight between duty and desire, between personal growth and loyalty to one's family, is one that many of us face in our own lives. And just like Mulan, we are all given the opportunity to choose how we respond to those challenges. That's the beauty of Mulan 2. It's a simple, yet deeply moving continuation of a character's journey that invites us to reflect on our own. With its emotional depth, its quiet yet powerful storytelling, and its unforgettable characters, Mulan 2 stands the test of time as a meaningful piece of cinema. It's not just a sequel. It's an exploration of themes that are as important today as they were when the film was first made.